right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Tonight, as President Biden makes a surprise stop in Ukraine, a viral post claims the United States is funding Ukrainian pensions. We verify.
Just 20 days until we spring forward and daylight saving time begins. The signs that Mother Nature is getting an early start.
But first tonight, a teen athlete visiting St. Louis loses her legs after being hit by a car downtown.
The loss is stunning. Words can't describe the sadness.
The latest on the driver police say hit the 16-year-old. Tonight, the Tennessee teen in town for a volleyball tournament remains in a St. Louis hospital. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Ann Allred. We're also learning more tonight about the criminal past of the driver accused of hitting her. Our Robert Townsend joins us live from downtown. Robert.
And Mike, it was here near 11th and St. Charles where Janae Edmondson's life tragically changed. Her family, teammates, and many coaches are all stunned and saddened.
Gifted kid with a great smile.
He's talking about 16-year-old Janae Thompson. Just last month, a talented teen from Tennessee committed to playing collegiate volleyball. Over the weekend, Janae was excited to play in a tournament at the Dome of America Center. Sadly, in a flash, Saturday night,
Walking home with her family after the end of the event.
Police say Janae and her loved ones headed back to their St. Louis hotel when a gray Audi hit the girl. Investigators say the driver, David Riley, sped down St. Charles Street, didn't yield at the intersection, collided with several cars, and pinned Edmondson. Security cameras caught the crash on surveillance video.
Thankfully, the authorities were quick to come to the scene, and Janae and her family were able to go to a local hospital.
Both of Janae's legs had to be amputated as a result of the crash.
The loss is stunning. Words can't describe the sadness that our community has. I think we have words to describe our anger, honestly.
Jeff Wismer is the assistant director of the Middle Tennessee Volleyball Club in Smyrna, Tennessee. He's known Janae and her family for years.
We're thankful that she's here, but our community is mourning right now and trying to cope with the setback that she has.
Suspect Daniel Riley is charged with second-degree assault, armed criminal action, and several misdemeanors. Investigators say at the time of Saturday's crash, Riley did not have a license, was out on bond, and violated an order to wear a GPS monitoring device and be on house arrest. Meantime, prayers for Janae continue.
We just know that her life has changed, and we're going to need people to love her and support that family.
Now, we're told Janae will stay in St. Louis for several weeks before she's able to move to another hospital. Live downtown, Robert Townsend, 5 on Your Side.
We are following breaking news out of North St. Louis. Police are investigating a double shooting in the 5500 block of Floyd. This is a live look at the scene off Goodfellow in the Walnut Park neighborhood. Police say one man was shot in the chest and killed. Another man was taken to the hospital with gunshot wounds to his stomach and leg. We're still working to find out what led to the shooting and if there are any suspects.
Tonight, 2 teens are in custody accused in the murder of a 15-year-old girl in St. Charles. The 16 and 17-year-old boys were charged today in family court with second-degree murder, robbery, and assault. Shooting happened Saturday night near Oak Avenue and Perry Street. Investigators say the victim and another boy drove there to meet 2 people, but haven't said the reason for the meeting. A spokesperson for the Wentzville School District tells us the 15-year-old girl was a sophomore at Liberty High School. Just a few hours ago, St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy met with area church pastors at the Urban League.
He was there to answer questions and to see how they can work together. Our Laura Barczewski was there, and Laura, they're looking to go beyond the church services to try and help the community.
Yes, Mike and Ann, these churches already do a lot for the neighborhoods, but the Urban League says they want to put even more resources into them, so that support is just a block away and not all the way downtown.
Let's take our church and go up and take back our communities, take back our schools, take back the streets, take back the community, take back the city.
This group of pastors and church leaders hopes to do that by working with the Urban League to flood neighborhoods with resources like job training and case management programs.
Everything from mental health services, dental services, assistance with outstanding warrants. We've got to make the church a focal point and a resource hub in our more challenged neighborhoods.
Do you think that this will really help with a lot of the teen crime that we're seeing, the violent crime that we're seeing involving a lot of teenagers?
We want to be able to outfit the neighborhood church so that as mothers see their sons or daughters getting a little wayward, we are working to have the resources within walking distance. Walk your son or your daughter to the neighborhood church.
St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy says he wants to be part of the community engagement efforts and has already started working with the Juvenile Detention Center to reevaluate the system.
Let's find out what's going on with these kids. Rather than releasing them right away, let's talk to the parents and also talk to the kids and see if there's things that we can do to help so they don't go out and reoffend. Or I want to protect them as well.
Tracy says he hopes to open up more access to diversion and rehabilitation programs to better help young offenders.
Because sometimes if kids get in the system, that's probably the worst thing that can happen. Because what happens is that the propensity goes up exponentially of that person to reoffend if they're in the system.
The Urban League says in May they hope to restart a Saturday program at St. Louis area churches called Grill to Glory. It's basically a cookout where they set up tables and let even more people know about some of the resources new and available to them. And
tonight, Fairview Heights police are investigating the cause of a deadly crash. It happened around 3 this afternoon in the 9600 block of Old Lincoln Trail. That's off 161. The head-on crash involved a car and a pickup truck. One of the drivers, a woman, died at the hospital. Her name has not been released. The other driver suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Tonight, the driver suspected of hitting a motorcyclist and driving off in Jefferson County is behind bars. The hit-and-run crash was caught on tape. A warning, we're about to show you that video. Blake Ball was hit by a car while stopped at a red light at Highway 141 and Fiedler Lane last week. The Missouri Highway Patrol says they tracked down the man driving the blue car that hit Ball and arrested him. The driver hasn't been charged yet, but is being held in the Jefferson County Jail.
Just 6 days after being released from prison, Lamar Johnson was in Jefferson City urging lawmakers to change the laws on paying restitution those who are wrongfully convicted. Right now, Missouri law only allows restitution payments when DNA evidence overturns wrongful convictions. But Johnson was convicted without DNA or ballistics evidence and spent 28 years behind bars. He was one of several exonerees who testified today before the Senate Judiciary Committee.
I was just talking about sharing my experience since I've been released, and listened to some of the other testimonies from some of the other people. I have an understanding of what's to come. That after I've been out here for a while, that I'm going to face some of the things that they have faced.
Under the proposed bills, the state would pay $65,000 for every year spent in prison and provide tuition assistance. If the proposals become law, Johnson could seek up to $1.8 million in restitution. A GoFundMe page set up by the Midwest Innocence Project has raised more than $500,000 for Johnson.
Tonight, President Biden is back in Poland after his historic trip to war-torn Ukraine. The highly secretive visit comes just days away from the one-year anniversary of the Russian invasion. President Biden joined President Zelensky for a walk through the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv. They also laid a wreath at a memorial for fallen Ukrainian soldiers. President Biden announced another $500 million in military aid to Ukraine and made this pledge.
For as long as it takes. And that's how long we're going to be with you, Mr. President. The America stands with you, and the world stands with you.
The U.S. has given Ukraine over $100 billion in aid so far. Tonight, our Verified team is looking into several claims spreading on social media about the president's surprise visit to Ukraine, including about promises of more aid to the country. Here's Ariane Till with some helpful context.
President Biden made a surprise visit to Kyiv and announced more aid for Ukraine on Monday, just days before the one-year anniversary of the Russian invasion. During the visit, Biden asked Congress for another $500 million in aid for Ukraine, adding to the billions in U.S. aid already provided since the war began. A viral video post on Twitter claims Biden recently announced some of that money would go towards supporting Ukrainian pensions. Several Verified viewers messaged us to ask if that's true. So let's verify using these sources. The viral clip is real, but it's from April 2022. Take a look.
It's going to allow pensions and social support to be paid to the Ukrainian people so they have something in their pocket.
During this speech, shortly after the start of the war, Biden asked Congress for $33 billion in funding to support Ukraine. At the time, Biden said the funding would help Ukraine with critical security, economic, and humanitarian assistance in their war against Russia. Congress eventually approved those funds in December. So did some of that money go towards funding pensions, as the president indicated? Well, that needs context. The law doesn't specify how Ukraine must spend that money. It does, however, say funding in Ukraine could be used to include support for salaries and stipends of Ukrainians, as well as those of other forces or groups engaged in resisting Russian aggression against Ukraine. With your Verify, I'm Ariante Till.
What would you like for us to verify? Please send an email. The email address is verify@ksdk.com.
Paid leave. It's about to go from a benefit to a right in Illinois when all workers can expect to take time off on the boss's dime. Vitamins and supplements. Are they a boost for your body or a bust? Tonight we're looking at the benefits and the drawbacks of the products in your medicine cabinet.
Sunshine the last couple of days has been a boost to our mood. We're tracking the changes that bring wet weather back to the bi-state.
Tonight, a suspect is in custody in connection with the murder of a Los Angeles Catholic bishop, David O'Connell. 65-year-old Carlos Medina is the husband of the bishop's housekeeper, who also did work at his home. According to investigators, a tipster reported Medina was angry and claimed he was owed money. O'Connell served as a priest and bishop in L.A. County for more than 45 years.
A live look tonight in New Orleans, where Mardi Gras celebrations are going on right now. Tonight, they're celebrating Lundi Gras. Just hours ago, King Zulu arrived during a parade. And tonight's parade comes 24 hours after a brazen Mardi Gras shooting that left a teenager dead and 5 other people hurt. The chaos unfolded during the popular Bacchus parade, sending revelers running and bringing the celebration to a halt. Police believe it was an isolated incident, but innocent bystanders, including a 4-year-old boy, were hurt.
We had no problems until this incident happened, and we do not want another incident like this to spoil the rest of our Mardi Gras season.
A 21-year-old suspect has been charged with second-degree murder. Police are still investigating what led up to the shooting. Tonight, St. Louis police are sharing crime data from its Mardi Gras detail in Soulard on Saturday. 7 arrests were made for minors in possession of alcohol. 1 person was arrested for driving under the influence.
Tonight, a bill mandating paid time off for all workers in Illinois is on Governor J.B. Pritzker's desk, and he says he'll sign it. The bill passed by the state legislature will take effect January 1st, 2024. Employees will accrue 1 hour of paid leave for every 40 hours worked. They can collect up to 40 hours of PTO unless the employer offers more. Employees can start using their time off after working 90 days. Seasonal, temporary, and federal workers will be exempt. Many people turn to vitamins and dietary supplements to improve nutrient deficiencies or general health. Tonight, though, a new survey from Consumer Reports examines the most popular supplements with findings that might surprise you. Rhett is one of the millions of people who often take vitamins and other supplements.
Multivitamins every day, and then zinc usually just during the winter months when I need a little extra boost.
According to a survey by Consumer Reports, 60% of adults in the U.S. take at least one supplement every day. But do these supplements really work?
It's difficult to know if a supplement is actually working, especially if you're making medication or lifestyle changes at the same time.
Besides vitamins and multivitamins, the most popular supplements Americans take to support overall health are fish oil, calcium, and probiotics.
Research shows that taking fish oil can help reduce inflammation, that calcium supplements can help with bone health, and that probiotics can treat diarrhea from taking antibiotics. But so far, no research demonstrates that probiotics actually improve overall health.
When it comes to supplements taken to strengthen immunity, one of the most popular is zinc. But unless you are actually zinc deficient, you're probably getting the recommended amount just by eating a balanced diet.
There's also evidence that a diet rich in antioxidants such as berries, blackberries, pumpkins, carrots, and cruciferous vegetables may support brain health.
Melatonin was by far the most popular supplement for sleep, and CR says there's a good reason.
Taking melatonin can help you fall asleep about 7 minutes faster, and studies show it's particularly helpful for those with jet lag or sleep disorders. But to avoid interfering with the body's own natural production of it. Avoid taking high doses over long periods of time.
After biotin, collagen was the second most common supplement taken in the survey to make hair, skin, and nails healthier. But some supplements come with serious side effects like liver damage. Consumer Reports recommends avoiding Chaparral, Coltsfoot, and Comfrey. Again, here are 10 risky supplements that Consumer Reports, with the help of a panel of doctors and researchers, says you should steer clear of: Chaparral, Coltsfoot, Comfrey, Germander, Greater Celandine, Kava, Lobelia, pennyroyal oil, usnic acid, and yohimbe. In general, risk increases the larger the dosage and the longer the supplement is taken.
You can jog, play golf, tennis, or baseball in Forest Park. You can't shoot baskets, but that could soon change. In a survey by Forest Park Forever, 71% of park visitors said they want to see basketball courts added. Plans are now in the works to add them behind the visitor center near the racquetball courts. The plan still needs more work and final approval. Construction would not start until late this year. How about you with all those names? I couldn't pronounce half of those things.
Well, you work at it.
That's why you do what you do.
Yeah. Well, Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell does what he does, and you predicted a great day today. We had a great day. So what about tomorrow?
And I took all my supplements too, so I'm ready to go outside.
Feeling strong.
You know,
Just
I've got the
don't take
vitamins.
yohimbe.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know even what
Whatever that is, yeah.
Yeah, we are talking about a few clouds that have rolled into St. Louis tonight, but it is still dry. How about today? Yesterday it was 63, today 65. This morning's low 38, so another day at 14 degrees above average. Looking back so far, the first 20 days of February, we only have 4 days where temperatures were below average. The rest of the month has been above average, and not by just a touch. We're running about 6 degrees above average so far this month, and also on the early side, the spring leaf out. That's happening on the trees now, and we're starting to see that, especially just south of St. Louis, even in the metro area. Katie shared this picture on the 5 on Your Side weather Facebook group, our Weather Watchers Facebook group page, and you can see already getting the trees starting to bud out across the area right now. The only problem is if we get a big, good, hard freeze, and we'll probably have one Friday morning, that could set some things back just a little bit. Temperatures have dropped back to around 50 degrees, give or take a little bit. We do have a front sliding very close to St. Louis right now. It'll slip through overnight, but it's pretty much coming through without much fanfare, just a few clouds. Temperatures dropping into the mid-30s to upper 30s for most of us, closer to 40 farther to the south. We're going to have a quiet day tomorrow, too. The focus is really out to our west, coming into the Pacific Northwest and also coming on shore from Mexico. The jet stream very active here, and the combination of these systems going to spread active weather our way starting very late tomorrow night into Wednesday. Tomorrow's about 10 degrees cooler. Otherwise, it's a great day. Mostly sunny skies. Clouds start to increase late tomorrow. We go into tomorrow night. Warm front will be making its way towards St. Louis. That means the clouds thicken, the chance for a few showers, especially north of St. Louis, as we head through the wee hours and into the early morning on Wednesday. Then we get a little bit of a break, and then by mid-morning to late morning, showers and even a few rumbles of thunder breaking out ahead of this system as it slides across the bi-state region. There'll be some downpours, but right now it doesn't look like severe weather is in the mix for us. The chances seem to be farther to the south. First cold front comes through. The second cold front's the one that really means business, and it also is going to be providing a lot of snow farther to the north. Look at the winter storm warnings stretching all the way from Minneapolis, St. Paul, with blizzard warnings back into parts of Colorado and stretching farther to the west. Your temperatures on Friday as that colder air comes in here, upper 30s to low 40s. That's after lows in the teens and low 20s. So you've got one cold day out of the next 10, and otherwise it's above average temperature-wise across our region. And what you don't see painted anywhere in this forecast, snowflakes for St. Louis. Doesn't look like there's much of a chance here over the next couple of weeks.
All right, Scott, thank you. What's coming up in sports, Frank?
And we are headed to spring training to chat with Mike Claiborne. We will get Doug Armstrong's vision for the Blues' future. And in terms of the past, there was never a moment in college basketball bigger than Texas Western. Those stories next.
The Sports Desk is brought to you by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer, 10 years running.
5 on Your Side is pleased to announce that we are going to have boots on the ground during the entire spring training. Corey Miller is just back, and we've hired Cardinals broadcaster Mike Claiborne to be with us nearly every day for some insight. And I'm not sure if we've ever had a spring training with so many open spots with the Cardinals. The entire outfield, most of the bullpen, and then there is the second base position.
It comes down to Brendan Donovan, Nolan Gorman. When you look at those two, and then here's another X factor. How about if Paul DeJong swings the bat well in spring training? Does he become a shortstop again? Does he become a designated hitter? There are a lot of different balls in the air, and I'm just trying to see which ones Ali Marmol is going to catch.
How about the pucks in the air for the St. Louis Blues? What does Doug Armstrong do next? First, he will trade Ivan Barbashev and maybe a few others before the deadline. When you are in 11th place and 10 points out of the final playoff spot, you only think about one thing, the future. I'm not saying the Blues are going to lose every game from here on out. They may win tomorrow in Carolina. And I do like what they're doing, acquiring all these draft picks. But we don't want them to become the Cubs and have to rebuild for years. And Army knows that. He can't do that in St. Louis. The Blues need to sell out the building and be competitive quickly.
Saw the way Detroit, like New Jersey and Boston or Buffalo and Detroit did it. That's 5, 6, 7 years. LA did it very quickly, and I'd like to do it very quickly.
So the country is celebrating Black History Month. There are so many special sports moments to embrace. No one can forget the impact of Jackie Robinson in baseball or Muhammad Ali in boxing. And in college basketball, it was the team from Texas Western. I recently caught up with one of the members of that historical squad. It was a celebration at Faith Community Bible Church in Jennings.
Neville Shedd.
People came to see this man. You see, he's a part of basketball history.
People said, Neville Shedd, or who are you? I said, Google my name.
And they will see that Neville Shedd played on the 1966 Texas Western team who made it to the big screen with the movie Glory Road.
Whoever heard of Texas Western?
Comes the incredible story of the team that changed the game forever.
Coach Haskins is starting 5 black players, a first in NCAA championship history.
Something that's going over 50 some odd years, carrying that record of being the first team, to do this, and how it opened the eyes to all the major schools all over the United States.
Texas Western.
That team is so revered that in 2007, they were enshrined in the Basketball Hall of Fame. That's Neville on the end.
A Hall of Famer. I'm in the arena with some of the best basketball players in the world, guys that I looked up to, the Bill Russells that I had a chance to be with for a little while.
And because of that Texas Western victory over Kentucky 57 years ago in College Park, Maryland, today, everywhere the 79-year-old Shedd goes, he hears things like this.
I want to thank you for what you guys did, because my father was a great athlete and didn't have a chance to perform his trade later on going to college. But what you all did opened the doors for athletes like myself.
And a side note to that game, the most famous player in that game was Pat Riley, who was an All-American at Kentucky. He went into the Texas Western locker room after the game and personally congratulated all those players.
And what do they say about Coach Haskins, who really opened these doors?
Well, Mike, the abuse he took for putting 5 African Americans on the floor in the late 60s was overwhelming. But he didn't see color. He just saw winning and trying to make his players great.
Great story. Frank, thank you. Are you swimming in Mardi Gras beads? The St. Louis attraction asking you not to throw them away. Tomorrow is Fat Tuesday, the Mardi Gras celebration. It's more than just beads, hurricanes, and king cake. The tradition actually started centuries ago in ancient Rome. Families would binge eat meat, eggs, dairy, and desserts before their 40 days of fasting for Lent. The party migrated to the United States in 1699.
And did you have a lot of beads thrown at you at Soulard Mardi Gras? Well, don't throw them away. The St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station is collecting them to be recycled. From now until February 26th, And recyclers will be entered into a contest to win 4 annual passes to the aquarium.
Grant's Farm showing off this baby yak. The baby bovine was born on Super Bowl Sunday, so they named it KC in honor of the Super Bowl champs. KC will be part of the new Animal All-Star Lunch and Meet and Greet experience at Grant's Farm next month.
A yak. You know who used to say yak a lot on The Tonight Show? Johnny Carson. He used to make jokes about yak. You have to be old like me. There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, not Johnny Carson, is next.
And Katie Holmes is Jimmy's guest. Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m.
Yak is a funny word.